Welcome on into today's video where we're going to be talking about the 2018 Montana Senate election here between Democrat incumbent Jon Tester and Republican challenger Matt Rosendale. Look at some recent polling data that just came out. Look at the primary results that happened this year, comparing it to historical results, and then also looking at the approval of these candidates and kind of just giving our take and opinion on how we see this one playing out here as we head towards those 2018 midterm elections. So the polling data that just came out recently shows that Jon Tester in a pretty good spot right now. He's ahead by 8 percentage points in this poll here. Not the largest sample size, 469. Margin of error on that one at about 4.5 percentage points, but still the incumbency advantage from Jon Tester definitely helping out. Also, he's very popular amongst his home constituents in the state of Montana. So his approval rating being high is also going to help him out in this race as he tries to continue to be the senator from the state of Montana. But Montana, it's a state where in presidential elections, they're typically more often than not going to go for a Republican, but we have seen Democrats able to win statewide elections here in Montana with things like the Senate and governorship and other things like that where you can get some competitive races. So moving on here, looking at what Jon Tester did 6 years ago, and you can see he went on to win by about 4 percentage points, carrying the state of Montana with 48.6% of the vote. I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar kind of result in 2018, maybe even a little bit better for Tester. When we look at these numbers, you're going to see why that I have that particular opinion. So the polling data that just came out here, we can see Jon Tester's job performance, approval rating. You added up about 54% approve overall compared to 41% disapprove. So a positive spread there of about 13 percentage points and just 5% uncertain. And that shows you that people in the state of Montana, they're very aware of Jon Tester and they have opinion on him, whether it's approve or disapprove. But across the spectrum here, you can see he has very good recognition on what he's doing. 95% of people have some type of opinion one way or the other, and that's important. We'll compare that over to his challenger here as we get down through some of these questions. But the Republican senator from the state of Montana doesn't have as good approval rating as the Democratic senator. So we can see here Daines, his approval is 18 for strong and then 23% somewhat. So you add those up, you get 41% total compared to disapprove, which is at 43%. So a negative spread there. You don't see that all that often with senators in their home state having a negative disapproval compared to their approval rating. So not great stuff there from the Republican senator in the state. But then also looking at Tester's challenger, right now his approval 40%, his disapproval not all that high at about 31%, so he has a positive 9-point spread there. But the bad thing for him is the uncertain have a 29% situation where they just don't have as much known about the challenger of Tester. Right now, he's the state auditor. Having that 29% compared to just the 5% on Tester's side, showing that Tester has way more name recognition, that incumbency advantage that will help him out in that instance. And then moving down here, they also asked if the election was today, who would you vote for? 51% for Tester, 44% for Matt Rosendale. And then they kind of asked the question a little bit differently. If the election for Senate were held today and you had to make a decision, who would you vote for? 87% uncertain, 10% for Tester, 4% for Rosendale. But then you add those two questions together and then you get 52% for Tester and 44% for Rosendale, which is where we saw it over here at that 8-point spread. So that's the recent polling data that just came out. It's all looking really good for the Democrat incumbent Jon Tester, but I also want to run through some more numbers here that I brought up. So the 2018 primary, Tester was uncontested, being the incumbent, and then on the Republican side, pretty good turnout here. Matt Rosendale went on to win with about 33.8% of the vote. And we can see about 152,000 people casted a ballot. I wanted to compare this to previous primaries on the Republican side for the Senate. So I went back to 2014. And as you can see here, about 132,000 people cast a ballot in 2014. So we see an increase in enthusiasm on the Republican side in this particular primary anyways. And that's a pretty good sign for the Republicans overall. If taking anything positive on their side of things, even though the polling data wasn't all that great, we do see a little bit of an increased enthusiasm, at least in this particular Republican primary compared to the last one during a midterm election. And then one more number, looking at the morning consult approval and disapproval of different senators. So you have the Republican From the state of Montana, 49% approve compared to 34% disapprove, so you have a 15% positive spread there. But the Democratic senator doing even better in the state of Montana. He's well liked across the state, 56% approval compared to just 33%. 56% approve compared to 33% disapprove, so you have a positive spread there of 23 percentage points, which is very impressive in the upper tier in terms of senators and their approval ratings in their home states. So this race is looking pretty good for Jon Tester right now, with challenger Matt Rosendale having a bit of a gap to try to close here, and it's going to be a really big uphill battle for him to try to get increased name recognition against a senator from the state of Montana who has pretty strong approval ratings, with people happy with the job that he's doing there for them. So, of course, in this one, based on the data that we have here, it looks like a pretty straightforward decision that Jon Tester has the advantage. We pick him to go on to keep his Senate seat as we head towards these midterm elections. Thanks, guys, for stopping on in. Check out all of our prediction videos over on our YouTube channel. Subscribe for more. We hope to see you back here for future videos. Bye.